the Ikon Suspension Sidecar Speedway Grand Slam, Australia's premier speedway bike tournament. Tonight we take you trackside to Kurri Speedway in the New South Wales Hunter Valley for the series finale. The world's best riders and passengers doing battle for national prestige. On speed, this is Chequered Flag, proudly presented by Valvoline Engine Armour. Good to have your company on Chequered Flag tonight, and a very warm welcome to Kurri Speedway in the New South Wales Hunter Valley region. Conditions here weather-wise are inclement. In fact, well, to be honest, it's raining everywhere but at the Speedway. But with some luck tonight, the grand final of the Ikon Suspension Sidecar Grand Slam will be run and won. It's a very close affair. We'll show you the point score in just a moment. This six-round championship got underway at the Riverland Speedway in Renmark in South Australia in early December last year, and that event was won by Byron Gates and Mick O'Loughlin from Mildura. Then round two at Murray Bridge was taken out by Headland and Waters. They backed up to win the third round of the championship at Borderline Speedway in Mount Gambier, arguably the fastest track on this Grand Slam trail. Then we got to round four, and it was Darrin Treloar and Simon Cohrs getting the job done at the Gilman Speedway. And then Gilman hosting a further round that was taken out by Mark PLaisted and Sam Gilbert. That round was scheduled to be the grand final, but the Kurri round, which was scheduled to be conducted in the middle of February, was washed out. Hence, it was moved back to tonight, and therefore becomes the grand final of the tournament. The current standings, I alluded to it earlier. Monson Morgan a fraction ahead of Darrin Treloar and Mark PLaisted. Now, because of the rescheduling of tonight's event due to the rain, sadly Warren Monson and Matt Morgan will not be taking part. Monson is the head mechanic for the Suzuki road racing team, and this weekend the Australian Superbike Championship gets underway, so Warren unable to ride here tonight due to his work commitments. All right, Mark PLaisted has a massive chance of winning the championship. It would mean a lot to him.
This season's Ikon Suspension Sidecar Grand Slam has been a close contest and will be fought out between two of the sport's outstanding riders. Reigning world champion Darrin Treloar and South Australian champion Mark PLaisted, who has enjoyed one of his best seasons to date. The 28-year-old has been in scintillating form. He won his maiden South Australian title back in January at Gilman Speedway, and then followed up with winning the penultimate round of the Grand Slam at the same venue 2 months later. He heads into this final round, that was rescheduled after the original event was washed out in February, as one of the favourites. Partnering with 17-year-old Sam Gilbert, PLaisted has credited both his passenger and his crew as key elements for his good form this season.
Yeah, sure has, mate. We've been consistent, and that's what we've got to do tonight. We've got to be consistent and make the final and battle it out with Darrin, hopefully, and yeah, try and get the better of him and try and take out the series.
It's probably been one of your best seasons so far. What's different?
I've got a good bunch of guys behind me. We've had the same guys, but I've got Sam. He's doing a great job on the back, and some great sponsors in Ikon, Black Chrome. Everyone else has helped us out. You know, we've got a good team behind us, and we go away and we have fun and we enjoy it, and that makes my job easier as a rider, just to get on with the job, mate.
Yeah, obviously with your kit this year, it's you know, it looks $1 million, and that does help with sponsors and all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
it sure does, mate. You know, that's all part of the job, and yeah, we've sort of stepped it up, and yeah, it's sort of stepped it up in me racing too. So.
In the season prior, PLaisted endured a bad run of luck that saw his former passenger, Jamie Banks, and himself involved in a number of incidents. Fast forward to this season, and his new partnership with Gilbert has provided plenty of positives. He has nothing but praise for his young passenger.
He's only done this season, mate, and he's a big reason why we've gone good this year. You know, he's done an awesome job. He's done all the miles, he's travelled, and he's got on with the job every time. And yeah, I can't thank Sam enough.
Having previously won 3 Australian junior titles and riding shotgun for Darrin Treloar last season, Gilbert has come of age largely thanks to his partnership with Playstead, which began at the Kurri Speedway last September during the 2012 Australian title.
Yeah, as I said, we came 6th last year, or this at the start of this year, so it's been a big improvement in the whole year. We're going well, bike's starting to get well, we're starting to blend in with each other, so it's good.
Australia's got a very good junior system, and you obviously come through that with the Hudson boys. And what sort of difference is it, getting off a 250 onto a 1000cc?
Oh, it's a lot more intense on your body and it's a lot faster, but the basics are always there. And I learned a lot through juniors, but then I also learn a lot more with seniors as well, so it's good.
I have noticed that obviously when you're under 16 you don't sort of bulk up, but you have bulked up a little bit more. You've been training hard because you're on 1000?
Yeah, last year when I was with Darrin, I think I was 58 or something. I'm now up to 67, so it's good. Yeah, it's a lot easier when you got a lot more strength and you can pull the bike around. It's not so harsh on your body.
The recent abandonment of the World Sidecar Championship to be replaced by the Oceania Championship has robbed the likes of Playstead of the opportunity to challenge Darrin Treloar for World Championship glory. That being said, Playstead reckons the Australian title is more challenging to win.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have one, but the Aussie title's probably the harder one to win, but yeah, it'd be nice to win everything, mate. You just keep plugging away and we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, the season's pretty much over for you guys in the sidecars. What sort of meetings have you got coming up? Anything you're going to be busy over the winter?
Nah, this is the last one for us, mate. We're just going to have an off season and just go camping and do a bit of fishing and just get back out the dirt bikes in a few weeks and just try and enjoy the break and come back bigger and better next year.
Mark PLaisted, what a rider he has become. And of course his combination with Sammy Gilbert this season has been fruitful to say the very least. They enter this event tonight with a real chance of winning the Sidecar Grand Slam Series. That combination you just saw, Darrin Treloar and Simon Cohrs, are 2 points ahead of them and very much the team to beat. I'm joined by Rod Colquhoun. Rod, the weather is terrible, as I said earlier, raining everywhere but Kurri Speedway. Let's hope the weather gods do the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's been terrible all week, but fair play to the track curators here. They've got the track looking very good considering the weather, and a little bit of sunshine in the last couple of hours might help us.
Yeah, crowd is building up. I'm sure it will be a good crowd despite the inclement weather conditions. Now, I've already alluded to the fact that this event was supposed to be the penultimate round of the championship, but rain intervened about 6 weeks ago to wash this meeting out. As a result, the Gilman event, which was the second of 2, became the penultimate round. So we come to Kurri tonight with the tournament grand final. Unfortunately, the season has taken its toll, so we don't have a full grid in the case of some races, which is unfortunate. But all of the superstars are here. It certainly won't detract from the spectacle. Bond and Cox in blue, Smith and Carr in white, Headland and Waters in yellow is the first race. You're going to see 23 races over the next 2 weeks on Chequered Flag, and a number of feature stories too. Mick Poole, former international rider, is working with us in the pits as we go racing in the opening heat, and Grant Bond and Glenn Cox are the leaders in advance of Headland and Waters.
Yeah, Bond and Cox. Grant Bond was involved in actually building this track from scratch, so it's fair to... great stuff from Headland, tough stuff too. Yeah, the Murray Bridge combination through on Bond, and I tell you what, that's no mean feat around here.
I don't think Bond and Cox will cop it, to be honest with you. Headland runs wide and he's worried about it too. He was looking where Bond is, and there he is, right up on the inside. So the Maitland duo of Bond and Cox fight back, and now Headland and Waters have another crack on the inside. Wonderful speedway.
Absolutely brilliant. Got to remember here, Grant Bond nearly won the Australian title here just 12 months ago, so he knows his way around here, no doubt about that, and he gives it to Headland again. What a race.
It's outstanding, so Bond and Cox go back to the front, much to the delight of this crowd at Kurri Speedway. And the reigning world number 3 is going to win this one. Bond and Cox, yes, they get the job done and take the 3 points. A wonderful race and a great ride. Bond and Cox the victors. Headland and Waters 2 points for their second placing effort. And Banjo Smith and Brett Carr, with all due respect, we forgot about them for a moment. Such was the excitement up front.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a really, really good race. Thoroughly enjoyable, and the crowd on their feet, and rightfully so. Bond, good start from Bond. Great start.
Watch the Valvoline engine armour race recap on Chequered Flag. Bond and Cox best to begin. Headland got away rapidly as well. And on this occasion, Bond runs slightly wide. Headland seizes the opportunity, and then they reverse the roles a lap later.
Yeah, it was a really interesting race, and it just shows off the Kurri track. It's got 2 distinct straights, 2 reasonably sharp corners, and so many racing lines, and we just saw all of them used in one race.
Epic onboard shot out the back of the Bond and Cohrs machine. They got it done in the end. A wonderful ride. Here's Mick Poole in the pits.
Grant, what a race, mate. With Mick there, there's 3, 4, 5 passes there. You made a good start, but yeah, he nudged you out of the way, and then you done the same back to him.
Yeah, it's just definitely a pretty hard race. Track was quite skatey in that first one, you know, so yeah, it made it hard, but yeah, he sort of came through and moved us up, and yeah, there was a few passes after that, but would have been good to watch anyway.
Yeah, it was, mate. I tell you, did you make many changes to the bike then for this slick track?
Yeah, we've made a few. You know, there's not too much more we can do. You know, hopefully the track will come in a little bit later on and make a bit more drive.
Yeah. Thanks, Grant.
Thank you.
So the format here for this grand final of the Ikon Suspension Sidecar Grand Slam is 20 qualifying heats, which means each team will ride in 5 qualifying heats. At the completion of 20 heats, the top 3 point scorers go straight to the grand final, or a final if you prefer. The next 4 riders will contest the sudden death semi-final. The equation is fairly simple in terms of points. If Playstead and Treloar both qualify for the final, which you would think they should, Rod, if Playstead finishes in front of Treloar, that will force a runoff to decide the championship. How good would that be?
That'd be great after 5 rounds for it to come down to one race. Awesome, and it could happen.
Absolutely, it could happen. The way Playstead's going, he did win the penultimate round at Gilman. He's in great form. Treloar and Cohrs will ride in the red helmet colour here. Of course, they come into this event having won the Australian Championship again at Gilman last weekend. Treloar his 7th time. Cohrs his 2nd championship success. Underway, Taste Fly, Treloar and Cohrs on the inside. Hoogland and Evans got away okay in the blue helmet colour. And Mick Farrell Sr. and his passenger, Don Morris, running in 3rd spot at the moment. We take you on board with Darrin Treloar and Simon Cohrs.
Yeah, Darrin racing off in the distance. As you said, a crowned again Australian champion. Just a wonderful, wonderful racer, this guy. And, gee, he's going to be tough to toss tonight.
You'll find that the onboard angles will be changed throughout the night. The sidecars are fairly simple to look for different alternative angles throughout the course of the night, and that will be the case. So at the moment, the onboard camera on Treloar and Cohrs pointing out the back of the bike. There's Farrell and Morris. Mick Farrell's been a wonderful supporter of this sport for a number of years as a rider and as a sponsor, and good on him for that.
Absolutely has, and he's sponsored a number of solo riders, sidecars, as you say, competed year after year, and he's utilising the services of Darren Caif's old passenger Don Morris, and Don was badly injured a couple of years back, so good to see him back in the saddle.
Yeah, it's all Darrin Treloar and Simon Cohrs off turn number 4 in heat number 2, and frankly they cruised to victory in the race. Farrell and Morris were 2nd, Hoogland and Evans, after getting a pretty good start, the South Australians, unfortunately couldn't go on with it. The race time was allegedly 69.84 on the Ikon Suspension race results board. Now we'll go to the recap and have a look again. Alternative angle, this time we're on the helmet of Simon Cohrs, and check this out.
Yeah, that's great stuff. I spoke earlier about the shape of the track here. If you think about the other tracks in the series, Gilman, they're quite round, and the guys from Gawler probably found just the sharp entry to the turns, a lot of shutting off and just drifting into the corners, a lot of technique. Take a little while to get the hang of it.
Talking of technique, have a look at this.
Please.
Treloar knows what it's all about, and he does it frighteningly fast. Honestly, you've got to be made of special stuff to get on the back, haven't you, and be a passenger.
I think I just mentioned shutting off and Darrin Treloar in the same sentence. You can't do that.
You certainly can't. So through to the pits now. Here's Mick Poole in position with the current Australian champion, the 7 times national title holder, and the world champion. Go, Mick.
Darrin, first heat, mate. Good start and just cruised after 2 laps.
Yeah, well, we got 2 tyre rule tonight, so we've got to save our tyres and had a bit of a look behind, and it was a fair gap, so I just rolled it off a bit just to save the tyre.
With the track being so slick, do you think it's going to tear the tyres that much?
I think so, yeah. It's we've got to think of the safety. You know, these things have got 180 horsepower, and they just tear the tyres apart if the track's hard, and it's already gone slick, so there's a good chance it will. So we won't survive 6 races on 2 tyres.
Many changes in between the first and second heat?
Yeah, I've changed every heat. It's just chasing the drive, trying to get the hook up. It's very hard out there. Like I said, we've got 180 horsepower trying to get to the ground. It's not easy.
Thanks, Darren.
Cheers, mate.
Chequered Flag!
On Speed, the home of motorsport, you're watching Chequered Flag, proudly supported by Valvoline Engine Armour.
And good to have your company on the Speed Channel around Australia. The grand final of the Ikon Suspension Sidecar Grand Slam. Fabulous series that's been crossing various states of Australia since early December last year. Former international rider Rod Colquhoun is with me in commentary. A reminder, you can follow Chequered Flag on Facebook and Twitter. You'll see this grand final in 2 parts. Obviously, today's program and again on next week's show. Farrell, this time it's Farrell Jr. and Shane Van Ginnigan in red, Lawrence and Johnston in blue, and Saunders and Clarissa Mitchell, a brother and sister combination. They've had some problems with their bike throughout the early stages of the night. Let's see how they fare. This time it's a beautifully presented kit. Look at that. Fair bit of bumping happening in the first couple of corners. It is no place for the faint at heart. And it is Farrell Jr., the early race leader.
Yeah, doing a good job. Mick Jr., I tell you what, Lawrence is going well, and fair play to him for the presentation of that bike. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Unfortunately, Saunders at the back of the pack with his sister Clarissa Mitchell on the back are having further mechanical gremlins. So we'll focus on the battle up front with Michael Farrell and Shane Van Ginnigan. They are under siege from Tim Lawrence and Chris Johnson. Wow. And that's like dodging cars out there.
That was a big one. I tell you what, Shane Van Ginnigan, he's been around for a long, long time. A really nice guy. Great to see him back in the saddle. I tell you what, this is not over yet.
No, it's not. They almost touch a drag race up the main straightaway. And Farrell takes the lead again with Van Ginnigan on the side of the bike. Van Ginnigan used to ride for Darren Caife, Rod, who's now retired from the sport. And you're right, he's done a lot of laps over an extended period.
He certainly has, and he's enjoying himself out here. Young Farrell doing well, really well.
Yeah, not going too badly at all. So he and Van Ginnigan exit turn 4 final time. I'll tell you something, Lawrence and Johnson didn't give up the fight, did they? Across the line, poor old Stephen Saunders and Clarissa a mile back. They can't get that bike running at all. So on the Ikon Suspension race recap, you can see there that Farrell Jr. and Van Ginnigan combining to pick up valuable points, and 3 of them in heat race number 3. The Valvoline Engine Armour race recap gets them underway. It was a very, very tough first corner.
And I think the thing that made it most interesting was Lawrence had a small hiccup on the way to the first turn, and that brought Farrell right back into it, in fact handed him the lead.
Yeah, and to the credit, however, of Lawrence and Johnson, they didn't give up. They go underneath Farrell and Van Ginnigan there with a massive amount of understeer, I might add, too.
I think
it wasn't pretty.
I think they call that through as opposed to under.
Yeah, exactly. But as I said, the combination of the blue helmet colour, they fought right down to the checkered flag, but Farrell and Van Ginnigan, they were able to open up a lead that proved unassailable in the end. So we now go into the pits and we will cross down and hear from Mick Poole.
Tim, that was a pretty good start in your first heat there, and sort of just missed a gear change, and then they got through. But yeah, pretty wild ride.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. So I hope I go better in the second, third race. So hope I'll get up there and actually get some points. So
yeah, and I believe you haven't been riding for too long.
No, about 5-6 months now. So hope when I get better, like as I go on. So
yeah, perfect mean to do it with such good riders around too, and you can see what sort of lines they take and how they control the bikes and stuff.
Yeah, well that's the thing. Like, I've only been riding club days, and the level ain't like it is tonight. So and it really pushes me as well. So
all right, Tim. Good luck for the rest of the night.
Thank you.
Yeah, job well done, Tim Lawrence, and full credit to him and his passenger, Chris Johnson. You said it right. Magnificent team presentation. This sport has come such a long way in the last 5 or so years, and certainly that man there, Playstead and Gilbert, a shining example of it. Beautiful presentation and preparation. And Darrin Treloar, let's be honest, he really started it all, didn't he?
Yeah, I was just going to say that Treloar started. I think Scott Christopher deserves some credit too for the way they presented themselves and really took it to Treloar. They're just beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely, Rod. Now, Heat 4, this is the final heat in the first round of qualifying. And one of the nation's leading emerging young combinations, Hayden Bond and Brady Cox in red. Byron Gates and Aidan Pearce in blue. Mark PLaisted, Sam Gilbert in white. Mick O'Loughlin not riding with Byron Gates this weekend, so Aidan stepping up to the plate to deputise for him. Mark PLaisted, Sam Gilbert. Their intentions are very clear tonight. Do everything it takes to qualify for the A final and then beat Darrin Treloar in that to force a runoff. They have started the night perfectly. The reigning South Australian champions who finished third in the national title last weekend. On-screen race leaders, great onboard shot. Look at the acrobats of Sam Gilbert.
Yeah, I think it's a full credit to Mark for, I'm not saying he was ever going to pull out of this meeting, but he finished third in the Australian title. He would have thought maybe it was his year, and just the professionalism of the guy to back up and travel all this way is brilliant.
He knows he's in with a huge chance. That's why it's a good professional team, well funded through Black Chrome sponsorship and Aircom systems. Exiting turn number 4, and they are very comfortable race leaders. I thought Hayden Bond and Brady Cox would get a bit closer. They know this track quite well. The two boys that are the sons of Grant Bond and Glenn Cox respectively. And it is all Mark PLaisted and Sam Gilbert. Gilbert, a former star of junior sidecar racing, is really making a great fist of things in senior competition now. PLaisted and Gilbert the winners, 3 points to them. Hayden Bond, Brady Cox 2 points, and Byron Gates, Aidan Pearce 1 point. The Mildura combination. And a wrap to Byron Gates, who is also very professional, also presents a good team, great family and massive supporters of the sport. There's no combination or no team in the country that would do as many miles as Byron Gates, let me tell you.
No, they really do travel the world, there's no doubt about that. Tell you what, PLaisted looked quick and the race time was quick, so he's really throwing down the gauntlet to Treloar here.
What a wonderful onboard shot. The acrobatics of the passenger on display there, and that's a slow motion shot of the kids, Hayden Bond and Brady Cox in full flight on the yellow bike, prepared by, of course, Grant Bond. Let's go downstairs and hear from Mick Poole in the pits.
Hey Mark, good start of the night.
Yeah, it was, mate. Gate 3 was working, so yeah, we'll take that one.
Yeah, track a little bit slick. You made many changes?
No, we changed from practice, mate. We struggled in practice. Well, we didn't struggle, we weren't fast, and we did the changes then and they worked, so we'll stick with that and come out of Gate 4 in the next one and see what happens.
All right, mate, thanks.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, that's what Speedway is all about, isn't it, Rod? Understanding what your starting gates are in your upcoming races, planning for it accordingly with setup, constantly watching what the track's doing. As we have a look at the progress point score after one round, your comments on that and the Playstead factor, thinking about what's happening next.
Yeah, well, the thing with sidecar racing and solo racing is that Gate 3 and 4 get utilised during the race, where 1 and 2 stay raw. The riders don't actually ride through them during the race, so they change during the night, where 1 and 2 just rut up. So there's a lot to be thought about.
Very interesting point. We take you for a look in the pits as these riders and teams prepare for action in the second round of heats 5, 6, 7 and 8. And obviously, same points scenario applies. All the riders attempting to score maximum points throughout their qualifying rides. At this juncture, let's hear a word from dual world champion Mick Headland.
Mick, what a race, mate. I reckon there was probably 4 passes there with Grant there.
Mate, yeah, she's a bit slicker than we thought out there, and Bondi give us a good run, that's for sure.
By looking that first heat just then, mate, you're really going to give it a good shake tonight.
Yeah, I think we'll sort the bike out a bit to this track, and hopefully we can be set stand on the podium at the end.
Thanks, Mick.
Cheers.
Yeah, retrospective chat there between Mick Poole and Mick Headland, who took it right up to Grant Bond and Glenn Cox in the opening heat race tonight. So we advance to the commencement of the second round of heats now, and it is a very good matchup in prospect. There's the world champion and current Australian champion Darrin Treloar with his very talented passenger Simon Cohrs on the back. Byron Gates and Aidan Pearce from Mildura in Victoria. Red helmet colour Gate 1. Of course, Byron Gates winning the opening round of this series at Renmark using a 600cc engine that night. It was remarkable, but it was a clay-based track that became slick, and it wasn't spinning up the wheels like all the others. It was a master stroke by Gates. Not sure whether he planned it that way, but it worked out a treat the way things panned out on the night. Treloar and Cohrs have gone straight to the front in heat race number 5 as we go on board with them.
Yeah, good start again from Darrin. He's really accumulating some points, but this field pretty closely bunched, and they're not challenging Darrin, but not that far behind.
Yep, Byron Gates and his stand-in passenger tonight, Aidan Pearce, filling in for Mick O'Loughlin. There they are now in second spot. A new kit too, looking pretty good. The presentation, Treloar and Cohrs, clear-cut leaders in heat race number 5. Gates and Pearce in second. Unfortunately, Stephen Saunders and Clarissa Mitchell encountering more mechanical woes with that bike. So they are going to struggle, it would appear. But look at that, sensational onboard vision from the helmet of Simon Cohrs.
You can see the roll-off film there flickering, and the little button at the top of the screen is your roll-off pull. You pull that and it puts a new screen across. So a bit of technology there.
See Cohrs there, he's actually looking around to see where their nearest rivals are. Doesn't he look relaxed on the bike, Simon Cohrs? He hardly moves, and again still has time to have a look where their nearest threat may have been. It was not close enough to worry about. Treloar and Cohrs 3 points, Gates and Pearce 2 points, and Saunders and Mitchell picking up 1. 70.41 was the race time on the Ikon suspension race results board. Now for Valvoline Engine Armour, race recap, and we initially look out the back of the Treloar Cohrs machine.
Yeah, good stuff from Darren, as we said during the race call. Really nice stuff. And just on the subject of Simon Cohrs, if everyone in the world was as happy as Simon Cohrs, it'd be a very happy world.
Oh yeah, he loves what he does, and he's here for a good time. Gates and Pearce did their very best, but they didn't have the speed that combination out in front enjoyed. Treloar, the master at work. That's that shot I was talking about, and there again, you can see Simon Cohrs constantly looking around to see where the danger is. He could probably hear the Gates bike. It wasn't that far away, but not close enough to seriously challenge. And another look there as they went across the start-finish line. That is wonderful vision from the helmet cam of Simon Cohrs. And speaking of Simon, he's now with Mick Poole.
Right. Simon, good start of the meeting, mate. The first heat was just cruising around. That second heat, bit of a misfire or something with the bike.
Yeah, we had we're just saving our tyre. Got 2 tyre rule tonight, so just trying to conserve our tyres and hopefully keep them good for the final, which hopefully we can make it in. We've had a fuel pump go on us, so we just got to sort that out, and hopefully we can go out in the race and see if it'll go.
Yeah, well, there's sort of a long way to go yet, mate. Like, even if you drop a few points, you can still get through the B final. So not over until the fat lady sings, though.
Rounds like this, you need as many points as you can, and you just got to win every race to make sure you get the gate for the final. And you got tough races. It's a bit unfortunate you haven't got a full field each lineup, but you just may do what you got and try and win every race, and then win the one at the end. That's the most important one of the night. So
that's exactly right, mate. Thanks, mate. I'll let you get back to try and get sorted out.
No worries. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, Simon Cohrs chatting with Mick Poole. We're lucky to have Mick Poole patrolling the pits for us tonight. Mick, one of the all-time great speedway riders that Australia has produced. And of course his young son Taylor making quite a career for himself too. He's the won the Australian Under-21 Championship last season.
Yeah, he did the 2011 champion, I think it was, but finished runner-up again last summer, so he's on the throttle.
No doubt. So moving along with the heat racing, there's Grant Bond, reigning world number 3, along with his very long-time passenger Glenn Cox. Glenn doesn't say a whole lot, loves what he does, good guy, just enjoys himself. Farrell Jr. and Van Ginningen in blue, Bond and Cox in white, Farrell Sr. and Morris in yellow. Bond last weekend rode in his 19th Australian Championship. That is some record. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a night that he'd possibly rather forget, but he's very much making amends here tonight. He has been sensational. And again, he traps out of the start line when the taste flew. He anticipated it brilliantly. And Bond from Maitland, the proprietor of Dr. Mac Engines, leads the event.
Yeah, good stuff from Grant and Glenn shooting off into the distance as the Farrell family fights it out for second and third. Should be an interesting one. Both great guys and really love their racing.
Yeah, they really do. And young Farrell certainly appears to have a good future in the sport. Loves what he does as well. And has obviously got the family support around him. And fairly competitive, it's got to be said.
Yeah, I don't know that he's ever really taken to the sport as much as he has in the last sort of year or two. He's really got into it, and it's good to see.
It certainly is. So there's the action for second and third. There is our leading duo of Bond and Cox. I mentioned Grant's business, Dr. Mac Engines, a little earlier. Fairly successful. He's been involved in engine maintenance and construction, if you like, for a number of years. And the superbike rider, Jamie Stouther, is involved in the business with him.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no shortage of mechanical knowledge and riding ability in that business.
Bonnet Cox 3 points, Farrell Jr. and Van Ginnigan 2 points. Farrell Sr. and his veteran passenger Don Morris 1 point for third. So things are going along nicely for the Maitland duo of Cox and Bond. 2 starts for 2 wins. I expected nothing less, to be honest. This was the event they were going to be ultra hard to beat at. Their home track. Looking out the back on the Valvoline Engine Armour race recap. That rooster tail of dirt, if it hits you in the face, it's like a sandblasting treatment.
It absolutely is. It's bad enough off a 500cc solo. Off a 1000cc Sidecar, it would be damaging. It would be damaging.
Yeah, with even bigger circumference wheels.
Absolutely.
It would be a real shock. So we now advance to the next heat on the program. You're watching the grand final of the Ikon Suspension Sidecar Grand Slam. The crowd has come in late. People obviously in the immediate vicinity were hanging back to see what the weather would do. It has been bucketing down in the region all day. You can see there the black clouds in the background, slightly southwest of this venue. Checking the radar though, as we did about half an hour ago, it would seem there's just a bit of light shower activity around now. So with a bit of luck, tonight's event will go right through. Lawrence and Johnson return in red, Hayden Bond and Brady Cox in blue, Banjo Smith, Brett Carr in yellow. Heat race number 7.
This shapes as a good one, actually. All 3 of these combinations have shown up fairly well so far, and the 3 points have been valuable.
Wonderful presentation. Team closest to camera, Lawrence and Johnson. Hayden Bond and young Brady Cox got away okay. Best to begin on the outside was Banjo Smith.
What a great name.
It's a fantastic name. It's about as Aussie as it gets.
You're not wrong.
Well, I mean, Banjo Patterson would be even more.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So Banjo leads. That's good to see. I'll tell you what, the youngsters are tenacious combinations. Bond and Cox really riding nicely around the inside there and looking slightly the quicker at the moment.
Yeah, so Smith and Carr the leader, and Smith and Carr, particularly Carr, were worried about Cox and obviously Bond looming. He was having a good look at them, and Hayden said, well, if you're looking at me, I'm going to steal your thunder. Up on the inside, and Bond takes the lead, relegating the early leader back to second on the circuit, Smith and Carr.
Yeah, Smith and Lawrence come into pretty close quarters there. Lawrence did well to avoid a collision, so pretty tight there for second and third.
Up the main straight, they run. Good shot that from the infield camera. Gives you an idea of the whip, the speed, as they cross the start-finish line. So the youngsters, Hayden Bond and Brady Cox, good shot of them in full flight. You've got to say, aren't they smooth?
They really are. I was just going to say, what you're seeing now is the track slickens off slightly, is the guys that aren't local are really struggling with the entry. They're oversteering, understeering, looking a little bit messy, but no disrespect to them, just not familiar with the track.
Hayden Bond and Brady Cox, they were anything but messy. They were like precision on 3 wheels, taking the heat race win in heat number 7, and therefore putting 3 points in the bank and 3 valuable qualifying points. Here's the Valvoline Engine Armour race recap. The team on the inside got away very slowly. I refer to Lawrence and Johnson, and that cost them dearly. The slick nature of the track, they couldn't get back on equal terms with the leading 2 bikes.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It was Lawrence that I really picked up on the change in his cornering technique. He looked good early in his earlier heat, I should say. In this one, the slick entry really caught him out, but he'll be better for the experience. This was a great corner from the youngsters. Geez, they pushed him out wide and got through. Good stuff.
Okay, let's head down to the pits and hear from our race winner in heat 7.
Hayden, you really didn't make a good start, but the outside gate got on top of you, but then, you just used your head and got past him, a little bit of a nudge, but, ended up getting past.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, I got a bit of drive coming out of the one of the corners and got up next to him. I kind of just dived in there a bit, but, we got a bit hooked together, but, I suppose that's racing.
It looks like it's the inside around the track at the moment. It's working at the moment. Do you think the outside will work later?
Yeah, the dirt's getting up there. It's all kind of moving up there. So depends what they do with this track grade. If they pull it down or whatever, and it probably won't build up until a bit later on, I suppose. But yeah.
Okay, Hayden. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, that's all right.
That is a family very entrenched in the sport. As Grant said to me once, we turn up to a race meeting and we are half the program, the Bonds. They're riding solo bikes too, the kids.
And riding them quite well.
Yeah, junior sidecars, senior sidecars, dads. The dads are still having a crack. the Bonds and the Cohrs. They're doing a wonderful job. And spare a thought for Daphne Bond, who's an avid viewer of Chequered Flag, I might add, would be watching tonight. And, well, she has to endure husband and son and all the stress that goes with that. And sometimes multiple children at race meetings.
You know,
it can't be easy on the lady.
Absolutely not. And it reminds me of the Gosford days, turns 1 and 2, the entry to turn 1 for the sidecars, which is in the clockwise direction. All the yellow T-shirts and green T-shirts there. The Bonds and Cohrs cheering their lungs out.
It's no different tonight. They're occupying a huge portion of the spectator hill. And speaking of the Bonds, we present a detailed feature story on the Bond racing dynasty on next week's program on part 2 of our coverage of the Sidecar Grand Slam. Headland Waters, Hoogland Evans, Playstead Gilbert. So another cracking heat here in Prospect. Headland and Waters closest to camera there. Beautiful shot. Dual world champion. Playstead and Gilbert, emerging team and already established as one of the best in the country. They take the lead. Gilbert and Playstead. Headland and Waters back in second. What can they do about it? They're going to try hard. They always do. They got in there a little wrong. And Waters comes off the back of the bike. Headland shakes his head in disgust.
Yeah, got really locked up there, Mick, and I think the straightening up of the machine's caught him out.
How does Paul Waters see? Look at his visor. He's got literally 1.5 centimetres to look out.
I can see the reasoning behind it. It looks strange from where we are, but yeah, I think he just ducks his head down the straightaway so he can just get hit in the peak and then raises his head around the corners.
Let's have a listen to this bike.
It's singing. That sounds wonderful.
1000cc Yamaha power plant built by Darrin Treloar through his TRE Race Engines business. And Darrin services and builds many of the bikes in the field, and Playstead, doesn't he get the most out of it? He and Gilbert take the win in heat race number 8. That's the conclusion of the second round of heats for Valvoline and Ikon suspension. Hoogland and Evans got 2 points. Headland and Waters ended up with 1, and that was unfortunate for them.
Yeah, it's important to hark back to the interview we did with Mick Poole earlier. He said, I'm off gate for him my next race. I'm going to change the bike to suit. Whatever he did was absolutely superb. Anyone watching that race that's going to race him later in the meeting is going to think they're going to have to get out of the start quick, because that was awesome.
Yeah, there he is there, and that's where it all goes wrong. Mick got in too hot, got sideways on the slick, tried to straighten up, and poor old Paul Waters was left with no chance of hanging on. He's a diminutive little character, Paul. Great competitor.
Absolutely.
He won't be happy with that.
No, he won't be. Now, this is the last race of the second round, so these guys haven't ridden on the track for quite a while. The track's changed, it's slicker now. Mick Headland's been caught out, he's almost spun around. Waters is off, and valuable points down the drain.
So the good news is Paul is A-OK. He was able to get up and walk away from that. We'll catch up with him later tonight. Here's Mick with Sam Gilbert, Playstead's passenger.
Sam, 2 wins on the trot, mate. You really look comfortable that time.
Yeah, it's going good. We got the starts, which is crucial in Speedway, so we just got 2 flying starts. It's a game plan, just get out in front and go.
Yeah, he had a pretty tough heat. Like Mick Headland's no mug, that's for sure. He's 2 times world champion. He come from the outside gate and trapped him on the inside, and then he tried to push his way through, but unfortunately tried to almost go backwards. But yeah, that's racing.
That's it. Yeah, that was probably one of our hardest heats with him on red and we're on yellow. And as you know, yeah, it's always harder on the outside. But yeah, we'll just see how the night pans out and hopefully go well.
Any change of the bikes for the next round, or you're just going to stick with what you got?
Just sticking with the tyres. You've got to keep that fresh edge for the start and all that, so we're just swapping them over, keeping a fresh edge for him.
Thanks, Sam.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, he's a good kid, Sam, and his dad, Brent, in fact, there's Brent at the back of the Playstead garage in the black shorts and the team shirt. He's at the helm of Aircom Systems and just a wonderful supporter of motorcycle racing and a good guy to boot. There's the points for you at the completion of round 2. We're getting towards the business end. Undefeated, Bond, Treloar and Playstead, and then dropping just the 1 point, Farrell Jr. and young Hayden Bond. So it is certainly stacked high on quality. As we approach the commencement of the 3rd round, we take you into the pits. There's Grant Bond and one of his mechanics doing some work on the rear wheel. A lot of them lengthen the bike rod to assist with the handling.
Yeah, lengthening the bike makes it steer slower, shortening the bike makes it steer quicker. And as this track dries out, they had to be very careful because of the weather. They couldn't go watering the track willy-nilly because it might have, if it rained, it would have been rained off. So it's probably a little bit drier than it would normally be, and they're adjusting the bikes to suit.
Okay, there's a look at Mick Headland and Paul Waters. Paul on the left, he came off a little while ago. He's okay. We're coming back in a moment.
Chequered Flag.
Bringing you the best action in Australian Speedway every week, this is Chequered Flag, presented by Valvoline Engine Armour.
And great to have your company on the motorsport leader. Welcome back to Kurri Speedway. It's grand final night in the Ikon Suspension Sidecar Grand Slam. Rod Calhoun is with me. Highly entertaining racing so far. Some wonderful onboard shots. Mick Poole in the pits doing some great interviews for us too. You can follow Chequered Flag, Australia's only weekly speedway television show, on Facebook and Twitter. And we now advance to the next round of heats, the third round of heats. And Darrin Treloar comes to the start line wearing the blue helmet colour with Simon Cohrs. We're looking at them now. Hayden Bond and Brady Cox in white from in 3. And Grant Bond and Glenn Cox in yellow from 4. You're watching highlights, part 1 of 2 of our Grand Slam coverage. Now, Heat 9 was an anti-climax with just Mark PLaisted and Sam Gilbert finishing the race. So they got 3 points, so we're going to skip that in our coverage and advance to this race, which is an infinitely more exciting prospect. Treloar takes the lead. Here's Bond on the outside, fighting for racing room, and the kid, Hayden Bond, gets up on the inside, tries to gazump his old man.
I was going to say, yeah, his kid, not just a kid. Unbelievable stuff. I'll tell you what, Grant made a great start there, just got his nose snipped off there and lost a fair bit of ground on Darrin.
Great footage. Treloar is the leader. Grant Bond and Glenn Cox in second. We were on board with them. You were looking at Hayden Bond and Brady Cox out the back. Grant Bond's not done with. He gets up on the inside of Treloar. Terrific racing. Then he drifts wide and Darrin comes back at him.
Yeah, these two fought out a dramatic 2012 Australian sidecar title here at Kurri, and it's still going on, this battle. Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, Treloar and Cohrs back in front. Great race, this one. You're looking at Bond and Glenn Cox in second, Hayden Bond and Brady Cox in third. There's Treloar and Cohrs. Darrin Treloar is unflappable. The consummate professional, cool and calm under pressure. He just looks so good on the bike. He never gets flustered. Takes the win.
It was a really nice move from Grant Bond underneath Darrin, and as you say, Darrin just turned it on a dime, cut straight back underneath him and back into the lead. Really well done.
He is so hard to beat. You got to fight for every point when you come up against this man, the world champion, the best of all time in this sport. No question about that. His record cannot be argued with. Out the back there of the Treloar and Cohrs machine, that was at the start and it was pretty busy.
Yeah, it certainly was, and in reference to Darrin being the greatest of all time, I think the thing that really, just the combination of his knowledge of bikes and his ability. There were probably riders that may have been almost as good as him, but probably didn't have the knowledge. He's got it all, the full package.
But also his obvious ability with the spanners. He builds his motors, and there are none quicker in the world. Look at that. Look at that from the helmet cam of Simon Cohrs when Bond and Cox went up the inside, and then we saw Treloar and Cohrs get back to the front. What a race.
Grand, awesome race, mate. There was 3 abreast going in the first corner and Darrin got in front, but you repassed him.
Yeah, another hard one. I guess when Darrin's in there, you always know it's going to be a hard race, but wasn't much room on the fence there a couple of times, so it was all good.
And Hayden actually got past you there in turn 3 as well.
Yeah, I knew he'd be thereabouts, sort of thing, so it's good for the young fellas to chase us around and, have a look at our lines and all that sort of thing, so definitely sounded like he wasn't far behind us anyway.
Tough first corner, Hayden, but you stuck it in there.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I had to cut back, didn't get over Treloar, so I had to cut back a bit, and they kind of pulled a bit coming out of the corner, so yeah.
Yeah, it's nice, riding against 2 such experienced riders like that and, see how they all do it.
Yeah, it's good. Watching them how they diving into the corners, and I saw, like Treloar really backed off and then cut back under Dad when he dived in there, so bit of
good experience.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
That's all right.
Like father, like son. They look just a little bit like each other.
There's no mistake in that family tree.
No, none whatsoever. Good on Mick Poole for the job he's doing in the pits, making a good fist of his new career as a part-time television interviewer and commentator. after a distinguished career behind the handlebars for more than 2 decades. Of course, it was serious injury that put pay to Mick Poole's career, involved in a horrific long track accident. Rod, you remember only too well.
Yeah, down at Wagga. Yeah, hit the fence, broke both his legs. And he'd had a series of very serious injuries prior, so that was just the icing on the cake.
Yep, absolutely. Saunders and Mitchell, let's hope they can sort out the gremlins with that bike. Look at the team. The presentation, magnificent. Get them underway. Smith and Carr in the centre of the racetrack, and on the outside is Byron Gates and Aidan Pearce. Traffic congestion is immense on the first corner. Saunders has got more problems with that bike again. I feel sorry for he and his sister Clarissa. And you can see there Smith and Carr are back in second. It is all Gates and Pearce, it would appear, in this heat race.
Yeah, Gates out in front. I'll tell you what, Saunders very unlucky there. He's really put a lot of work clearly into his team, and heartbreaking for him tonight. Hopefully he can rectify it for his next big outing.
Of course, his dad, Mick Saunders, was a very handy rider for a long time. And for many years, Mick riding with his daughter, Clarissa, who, before she got married, was obviously using the same name. And it's the thing about this sport, isn't it? Speedway, it's very family-centric, and you normally find many, many second and third generation competitors.
Yeah, well, we, at our age now, in our mid-40s, getting to see this second generation coming through, so a bit of a pleasure to watch it all happen.
Mate, you can come back here anytime. Describing me in my mid-40s, I'll run with that.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
party I had last year with a 0 on it meant nothing. Obviously.
Absolutely.
So Gates and Pearce take the win in heat 11 in advance of Smith and Carr and Saunders and Mitchell. So 3 points, 2 points and 1 point respectively. Race time 70.62. As we wait for the next heat race, a reminder about what is a massive week in sidecar racing on television, arguably the biggest week in the history of this sport on TV. You're seeing part 1 of 2 of the Sidecar Grand Slam on Speed today. Tomorrow night, Anzac Day, a 90-minute special as you watch the race rerun of that previous heat. A 90-minute special featuring the Australian Sidecar Championship from Gilbert Speedway Stadium. You'll see that Anzac Day night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course on Chequered Flag next week we come back for part 2 of the coverage in the grand final of the Sidecar Grand Slam. How good is that, Rod?
The biggest week in Australian sidecar history as far as TV goes. I love it.
No doubt. There's the Chequered Flag flying for Byron Gates and Aidan Pearce. He's a good man, Byron, and here he is with Mick Poole.
Byron, good win there, mate. You've had a third and a second and now a win, so hopefully a couple more wins now.
Yeah, no, we're hoping to. We've got 2 more rides, so hopefully we can put 2 more wins together. It'd be good.
Starting to change the bike and get it dialed in a bit more?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot slicker than last time we were here, but yeah, we're just changing a few things and just getting it set up for the finals, hopefully. So
yeah, so you enjoy the track here, or is it a little bit slick for you tonight?
It's a little bit slick, but they did forecast rain, so they probably didn't overwater during the day, but you got to race it with everyone else, so that's all right by us.
Thanks, Byron. Good luck.
Thank you.
Byron there, world number 4, having qualified for the final of the World Championship at Murray Bridge back in 2011. That event to be replaced with an event called the Oceania Championship. There'll be further details coming to hand about that on Chequered Flag between now and when our series for this season ends in June. There are a number of tracks putting their hands up potentially to run the Oceania Sidecar Championship that we will make sure you see right here on the Speed Channel. Should mention also some massive events coming up on Chequered Flag over the next 6 weeks or so. The Australian V8 Dirt Modified Championship. You'll see 2 hours of coverage featuring that event. There's the Silver Sprint Car Cup from the Perth Motorplex, the Gold Sprint Car Cup, the season-ending championship finale to the AHG Series, and a lot more. So plenty of big-time speedway still to come right here on Speed. Heat number 12, Headland and Waters on the inside. Away we go. They take the lead and they need it. Hoogland and Evans, they go to the infield. They've got problems.
Yeah, they have got big problems now because they're out of this one. Headland out in front. Waters, they need the points after Waters came off the machine earlier in the night. Really do.
Mick Farrell Jr. and Shane Van Ginnigan in the white helmet colour are back in second. Well, unfortunately, this field is depleted. We've got the attrition that I spoke about earlier in the night. But Headland and Waters, they've had a real mixed bag this evening after looking fantastic in their opening heat ride. It all went wrong and they scored just the 1 point in their second ride. This time they're going to come up with a maximum 3, it would seem.
Yeah, Farrell Jr.'s played it pretty smart tonight. hasn't done anything risky, just accumulated points, and he's got himself a pretty nice total.
Now a reminder, you'll see part 2 of the Sidecar Grand Slam coverage on Chequered Flag next week, when this series will go right down to the wire, and it will go down to the wire the way Mark PLaisted is riding. He and Darrin Treloar are on a collision course for the A final, and should Playstead finish in front of him, it'll go to a run-off to decide the championship. Headland and Waters take the win in Heat 12. Farrell Jr. Van Ginnigan getting runner-up points, 2 points beside their name for that one.
Yeah, Headland riding a slightly different line to the previous ride, the one in which he lost his passenger. Slightly wider arc and looked a lot better. And the track was a little bit different too. It had been watered, looked good.
Yep, Valvoline Engine Armour race recap. Not sure if that incident there where Hoogland touched Evans damaged the bike at all, but he was very quick to go to the infield. I reckon he thought he was going to get a red light situation
I think
with the
he
referee.
Did. I think so, yes. It's cost him at least a point.
Absolutely. So Headland and Waters, what a combination they have been. One of the great teams in this sport, getting the job done. Too good in heat race number 12. Let's hear from Paul Waters.
Paul, that last round he spun around there, just went a little bit too hard.
Yeah, coming a little bit too hard, trying to find a bit of drive, but sort of caught us out and grabbed and sort of got thrown out the back. So
Yeah, made amends in that last heat, mate. Looked really smooth.
Nah, last heat was better. Still trying to get the power to the ground. It's that slick out there, but still struggling with setup. But we'll go out and have a crack again. So
we noticed that you move around a hell of a lot on the bike compared to a lot of other passengers. You know, you're really off the back going down the straight, trying to get as much drive as you can. And then when Mick locks it up a little bit, you're back up again. You know, like obviously works for you.
Yeah, every rider's different. Mick, yeah, I just swing to what Mick rides to. So yeah, Mick comes in a bit hard sometimes. So you got to get the weight on the back wheel and try to drive it out. So.
All right, mate. Good on you. Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
There he is, Paul Waters with Mick Poole. So after 12 rounds of heats here, or rather after 12 heats and 3 rounds, Darrin Treloar and Simon Cohrs equal leader with Mark PLaisted and Sam Gilbert on 9. Bond and Cox dropping just the 1 point. And you can see the remainder. It is a very interesting race meeting, and there's no question in the world the Sidecar Grand Slam series presented by Ikon Suspension for 2012-13 will go right down to the wire. A reminder about the May issue of Speedway Racing News. It's on sale next Wednesday around Australia. Some wonderful stories feature interviews with the world champion Chris Holder, Robbie Farr, Matt Pascoe, the new Australian Super Sedan champion, and some very big breaking stories in Australian Speedway. Trust me, it is an issue not to be missed. And Chequered Flag next Wednesday night is also not to be missed. The grand finale of this fabulous series, the Ikon Suspension Sidecar Grand Slam. You'll see it at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And for further info on upcoming episodes, Twitter or Facebook, providing you with all the news. Also, a reminder about the 90-minute special you'll see tomorrow, April 25 at 6:30 p.m, the 2013 Australian Speedway Sidecar Championship from the Gilman Speedway Stadium. That will be a beauty. Rod, good to work with you tonight. Look forward to your company for part 2 of our coverage.
Yeah, thanks very much, Dave. Really enjoyed it. Some great racing.
So the teams prepare to embark on the 4th round of qualifying heats. That's where we will pick up the action on next week's show, as well as the Bond Dynasty feature story. We'll see you then.
You've been watching Chequered Flag on Speed, proudly supported by Valvoline Engine Armour.